could be that Xiaomi just nailed it. Compact size, monstrous performance, and the right kind of a camera setup. Is number 14 the top of the line? Let's inspect. Well, it is finally here. Xiaomi's 2024 compact flagship, the global version of Xiaomi 14, something which has a size somewhere between S24 and S24 Plus, promises better specifications, better overall performance, and I've had the pleasure to have it for more than a month, part of this time as a daily driver, and I can share that it looks like Xiaomi finally listened to their community and implemented a lot of features that people have been asking for. So I'm ready to share with you everything, the good, the bad, and everything that matters about Xiaomi 14. The first fact about it that leaves kind of a bitter feeling, the launch price is close to $100 more expensive than last year's Xiaomi 13. But this time, the minimum storage you can get is 256GB, which could be a rather good excuse. This phone is more expensive than Galaxy S24, undercuts the S24 Plus by €50, and once again, not gonna be released for some markets, most notably skipping the United States. You can think of Xiaomi 14 as an alternative to the Pixel 8 series, the iPhone mini, and the Asus Zenfone lines as well. If you like to unbox tech, this is your time. If my hands were your hands, you were about to sense the good quality of the box, which is not much different to the Poco or the Redmi lines. I continue to insist, this Xiaomi series needs some special treatment. Although it looks and feels quite nice. Xiaomi now include a black silicone case, so if you stay with the original, it won't get yellowish over time. The phone has a very beautiful design. Everybody has own taste. Mine usually leans towards other brands, but this looks good. It keeps some of the identity of the 13 series, excellent feeling to the touch. So far, I'm sold. Well, the back has this serious camera bump. There's a set of big image sensors underneath and good optics, so that's not a surprise. And unlike Samsung, who reused their camera setup for third consecutive generation, we can find a lot of new deployments inside here. If you care about the specifications, it's quite fun. Being a flagship, it is of course powered by the best from the Snapdragon series, with up to 16GB of RAM, up to 1TB storage, all the latest connectivity standards, an awesome 50MP Leica-tuned main camera. There's a selfie camera capable of recording 4K video, the phone comes with one of the brightest displays ever made, a large battery with turbocharging, and has HyperOS at launch. Given this buttery, smooth and snappy performance, I would say Xiaomi did everything right about the technical specifications this time, probably with exception for the time when they announced the phone, because it comes almost 5 months after it got presented in China, and that's quite a long period of time. Hopefully, Xiaomi have spent all these months in order to improve the software experience, which we are going to discuss a little bit later. Now, the specs inside are remarkable. We have the best performing Snapdragon of 2024, we have significant amounts of RAM, the fastest kind being deployed in smartphones this year, LPDDR5X, and we have UFS 4 storage with pretty amazing capacities. Remarkable is the display here, because I really like the color tuning, and surprisingly this is not a Samsung-made AMOLED panel. It comes from a Chinese manufacturer with crazy high peak brightness. I'm actually wondering whether Chinese AMOLED makers have made a significant step up, or Chinese brands are simply trying to be more independent from Samsung, with the latter opinion probably being a bit disturbing. Anyhow, the battery inside is also bigger than last year's Xiaomi 13, supports faster 90-watt wired charging, and even the wireless charging of this smartphone is quicker than what Galaxy S24 Ultra and Google Pixel 8 Pro could provide. So, in terms of specs, it beats them all. Concerning connectivity, we have everything that matters in 2024, including Wi-Fi 7, but of course the really big question is about this camera setup. It's once again something co-developed with Leica. We have a main sensor which is custom-made with pretty wide aperture, variable at the same time, and I've made a lot of photos and videos in order to test the real-life performance. Let's keep it simple at the start. Good light is always right for great-looking photos. Xiaomi 14 delivers excellent balance between colors, accurate exposure, wide dynamic range and almost perfect levels of sharpness. Think of it as an easy win in round 1. As soon as we raise the bar, things are getting a lot more interesting. Smaller amounts of light challenge the camera setup a lot more. Xiaomi promised up to 80% more light intake as compared to Xiaomi 13. I'm not quite sure whether we have a new low-light champion, maybe not yet, and since this is a new camera setup, there's a lot of room for further tuning and improvements, but this time Xiaomi have gone wild and the main camera performance at night is spectacular. There even is a dedicated night video mode which just proves how good the image sensor performs in combination with the wide aperture. To make things even more fun, Xiaomi have deployed a decent telephoto camera, 75mm one, which is about 3 times zoom, and together with some digital processing, it can turn it into much more aggressive crops, which actually look good. I know for sure that a lot of people enjoy the 5 times zoom lens on the latest iPhones, but this here is the sweet spot. In fact, Xiaomi go even further by introducing a dedicated cinematic mode, where they promise that the 180-degree shutter rule is being followed so that you get a very natural motion blur. All of this is great for people who don't have the technical preparation and understanding about these shooting modes. You could achieve similar, maybe sometimes better results with the Pro mode, where once again we can use log mode and make some sick color grading in post. In case you don't feel very comfortable with the last few terms, don't worry, they're professional grade but nothing that you really need to know in advance. If you need some extra ultra-wide shots, then switch to the ultra-wide camera, again a 50-megapixel module, and unlike most other ultra-wide setups, this one delivers good results even in low light. But hey, that's not all of it, because here we are, the front camera testing, and finally a Xiaomi flagship recording 4K on the front selfie camera. You can go up to 4K at 60 frames per second, and I guess the audio quality is pretty decent because of the 4 microphone array. And since we're looking at the camera array, there is one more interesting and hidden feature over here. When the phone was presented for the first time, many people noticed that up here there are 0 cuts. This is where traditionally Xiaomi were placing their infrared blaster. And this time it has been integrated in this camera array right underneath the flash. Besides the stellar camera performance, Xiaomi 14 happens to be an amazing multimedia powerhouse. Editing videos is easier than ever. For photos, the algorithms are smart enough to erase all the objects that you don't need. The processing power here is enough to make even the heaviest Android apps feel rather lightweight. That's right, just take a look at how smooth all the games run. Snapdragon delivers more frames per second than any other current system on a chip on the Android space, and the display, it is splendid. The model is made by Huaxin, called C8, a company which is more famous worldwide as TCL, and its characteristics are, as expected, a spot on. While last year I could clearly say that S23 has a superior display compared to Xiaomi 13, now only 12 months later it seems to be the other way around, and finally we get to see some real competition in the segment of AMOLED panels. I won't spend too much time with the synthetic benchmarks, there have been numerous reviews full of them so far, and the software updates won't change that much in terms of behavior. The decent cooling implemented allows the CPU to show its best for longer periods of time. Xiaomi 14 has a very good temperature management, and this contributes to the good battery performance as well. The capacity here is slightly more than what we got with last year's model. Endurance is somewhat better as well. With the first global build of the software, the battery life is rather average. I really have high hopes about these software optimizations because this is what can be a game-changing aspect. Actually, let's entirely switch to the software side so that we can explore the remaining features that I would like to showcase. HyperOS, a name that you can see in almost each and every smartphone tech blog. A lot of promises, and I think for many people it is mainly hope that Xiaomi's global software release will become a bit more battery friendly and optimized. As a fan of stock feeling, I'm not getting too impressed by the colorful design or the many themes available, but from practical standpoint, it is hard to beat the amount of customizations available for these Mi phones. My personal opinion is that HyperOS feels a lot more like an iteration of MIUI as opposed to a completely new framework and skin, but the big changes are more on the inside and allow integration with the broader Mi ecosystem devices. If you hoped to see the return of the brilliant Xiaomi dialer, it is unfortunately not back. But you have improved SIM card manager, completely redesigned control center, some UI simplifications, some new gestures supported. If you liked MIUI thus far, I guess HyperOS is going to feel similarly appealing. If you enjoy the Android stock feeling, the best you could do is to get one of these cool-looking themes. You won't get any troubles with the display on and off during phone calls, the audio quality is very good, and the quality of the speakers, well, it's your turn to give the verdict. After discovering so many positives, noting down the well-balanced features, is there anything left to complain about? Actually, yes. Xiaomi make it much harder now to unlock the bootloader and install third-party ROMs. And the price. I feel that paying almost twice more than the price in China is kind of crazy, but I guess Xiaomi have their reasons to do that. In the end, what kind of rating are we going to give to Xiaomi 14? Well, if you do not necessarily need stock Android, and if you're not another brand's fanboy, and if you can handle the price point because it's a bit higher than expected, then I would say Xiaomi 14 is the best compact flagship of 2024. Remarkable build quality, the best-in-class technical specifications, and it's a matter of time to step up their software game, although at the moment I think that this, combined with Google Pixel experience, would definitely be the best performing smartphone on the market, which doesn't exist. But if we compare to S24 series, where Samsung have repacked almost everything, like last year, they just brought a new display, a few tiny changes on the hardware, plus the Exynos treatment, which I don't necessarily enjoy, especially here in Europe. Over here we can see upgrades all over the place. New and larger battery, faster wired and wireless charging. We have a brand new display, which is spectacular so far. And the camera, which even compared to Xiaomi 13 is significantly better. So I think we have a champion over here. It's a pity that it wouldn't make it to the US market, but certainly something I can easily recommend despite the higher price tag. So now it's you. Are you very unhappy with the price point of this body? And do you think it really makes sense this thing to cost that much more in Europe as opposed to the Chinese version? I think we have a lot to talk about in the comment section below the video. Thank you very much for watching this episode. If you liked it, maybe you can give me a like and subscribe to the channel, and in case you want to support me, check the video description for more information. My name is Michael, I'm the TechMishka, and look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye!